All right, good morning, everyone. This is Beard and Todd. We fired Steve this morning, so I told him he can never come back to the show. And then he reached across the internet and punched me in the eye. Damn it. So don't ever say anything bad about Steve. He's violent with the phone in his hand. Good morning, Larry Way Out. It's good seeing you this weekend. Enjoyed getting to see you again, talking to you. Man, Nashville was so much fun. They're going to do it again next year, so it is one of the cool events because there was no we're going to teach you anything because you learn with spending time with others. So, and the social aspect was number one. So that was cool. So Phil texts the band and says you might take a minute to give $10 to any charity. You choose it. Lots of folks in the Midwest. Yeah, man, that was Nebraska. That was scary. God, I've seen them. That was scary. Phil, you got me in trouble. Just want you to know you got me in trouble, Phil. So Phil, out of the kindness of his heart, last week or week before last, said, "Hey, I sent some things to Joni for her charity." Because for those know, I put it in every link, the link to Joni's Wish Store, because she takes things every Tuesday and Thursday, or most Tuesday and Thursday. Some days she doesn't feel great, and to the infusion room for the cancer people to treat. Well, anyway, it was so Joni's addicted to Little Debbie stuff. Phil ordered Little Debbie stuff. And I'm like, Joni, what in the hell are you thinking? All that damn Little Debbie that you order from Amazon. Turns out it was Phil. She's like, I didn't order anything. I'm like, there's a big box out there that I just drug in the house. Yeah. Oops. And that's how I got the red eye.
Get punched out.
I got punched because of Little Debbie cakes. Good morning, Josh, RG, Carol, Javis, Mike. I miss anybody else? Miss Ping, good morning. Eric, Tactical Z, Ron, and Lag. But man, it's we went to yard sales. Turned out above the hotel, about 25 miles, there was a county having countywide yard sales, and so I did really well. So I'd never seen Department 56 Halloween. Man, don't miss that. Really good money. I got like 16 or 17 pieces for, I don't know, 50, 60 bucks. The most expensive one was $15. Most of them were 2, 3, or 5. So I just bought them all. Dawn, it was good seeing you and Mary, even though I'm the reason Mary had to put on headphones. That's what I'm telling everybody. Jay, but said it's way better than Christmas because you just can't find it. I'd never even seen it. So Mark said he is sent over here from the Cajun Reseller. Very nice. Appreciate you guys coming over. But I'm telling you, there's so many good people out there, and just talking to people and listening to their experiences and best practices and what they do. I don't sell on Whatnot, and I was pretty fired up. I'm like, I'm gonna figure out Whatnot and how to do something once a week. Man, the allure of Whatnot is, do some shows, build an audience, sell some quality stuff. Remember, oh my God, the naysayers, you don't get as much money on Whatnot. You might even lose money, or you can sell it for more on eBay. And you flip stuff very fast, build an audience, buy right. One of the biggest lessons you can ever learn is you make money on the buy. Tell them, Todd, buy in bulk. Todd, you would be, man, the stuff you buy and the stuff's available to you, man, you would kill Whatnot.
Yeah.
Just think you could get rid of all them Band-Aids.
I got plenty.
So it's
earplugs, fingernail polish. Those are my three.
but it's absolutely amazing. So I watched so Paul Philly Flipper rode with me to the yard sales. Paul, Jennifer, and Joni were all in the van. We'll get to the van in a minute because I pulled a beardy picker move, just so beardy picker. So we're out carrying on, the back of the van's filling up, and I'm like, man, I need to unlock the topper because I've got one of the Yakima 16s that I picked up a couple years ago for $20. I went to all the trouble to put it on top of the van. I used it a couple weeks ago, riding around the yard sales with Harlan, and we threw some paintings and stuff up there. And I thought everything I bought so far, all that'll fit up there. And started reaching in my pocket. Wait a minute, the keys are in the hotel. Holy crap! I've left the keys in the hotel because I just grabbed the key fob to the van. And yeah, turns out when I got back to the hotel, the keys in Huntsville. So I went to all the trouble to strap that big thing, and Joni, she did not miss the opportunity to say, now it just makes us a shark van. It's like a big shark fin up there because you can't store anything in it. I'm like, thanks, appreciate that. Yeah, the big. Yeah, so that was terrible. So always take the key, but it's I got to meet the baby I created while I was up there. That was great. So Kimmy and Chris the goose came from Houston. I'd met Chris one time before. We went to a green room meetup, and he came over for lunch. So I'd met him once before, very briefly, but to spend some time talking to him. So if you don't know, I used to do way more live shows, and one of my live shows, Chris showed up on. I think that might have been the first time he'd been on YouTube, or one of the first times. And that's where he and Kimmy sort of met, and she had a channel back then, and would do stuff. And so a budding romance happened, and now they are married with a child. So I created little Charlie. At least that's what I'm telling everybody. I apologize to him in advance for the pressure he has to live up to now. He has to grow a great beard in his life. But it's, man, the one thing I'll tell you is get the busy planning, get the busy working on things. It is freaking May 1st, folks. It is May 1st. Do y'all realize that? May 1st. You are a good chunk through the second quarter. Any of those plans that you have, it's once you get to the fourth quarter, it gets too late to make any kind of significant changes. You can just sort of hold on. It is not too late to turn your year around. Really, really good podcast coming up this Saturday. John and I had a conversation. We recorded already on Monday, and really talk about the things you can do to make yourself and do better at reselling. So challenge you to listen to the PPP podcast. It'll be out at, I think, 8 Pacific on Saturday. It's got its own channel, so check that out. I don't think we should let him in. Does he even resell anymore?
I try not to. There's no money in reselling. eBay's broken.
eBay's broken.
If you're not whatnotting, you're not doing anything.
There was people from Huntsville that were resellers at this thing, Nashville. I never even met before. I didn't know they existed. Man, there are resellers everywhere. Huntsville is full of resellers. I tell people that, and they don't believe me. But it's absolutely, it's worth the time to get to know the P3 podcast. It needs a nickname. Profit Playbook Podcast. It's getting easier to say. So if you're looking it up on YouTube, it's Profit Playbook Podcast. But it's a very, very interesting. We get into some of the details of how you can, because the whole premise of that podcast, it started out with Josh and John, and then Josh took a hiatus. And And so then we changed it to all reselling. You're in competition with other resellers, and your listings especially on eBay are in competition. And what are you doing to make yourself stand out? What are you doing to make yourself better? Do you even know where you show up on the list of? So if you sell in sports, you know how your listings show up against other people who list in the sports category. So we talk all about that, and so it's a good conversation, because even if you're it goes deeper than that. You're not just competing against, so I sell a lot of discontinued health and beauty, and I see Josh in the chat. He sells antiques and other things he finds in storage building. You would think they don't have any kind of competition for listings, but it is still, people only have so many dollars. I mean, there are some people out there like Tom that have unlimited dollars. They can buy what they want, but
Right.
the rest of us, the Moist Beard podcast. Speaking of Moist Beard, I'm gonna need some help on Friday at 5 p.m. Central for a couple hours. So I'm hosting with Jenna on their show because John will still be golfing. I need somebody in the chat that can count how many times we say moist. We need a moist tracker. That's what we need. Looking forward to that. She's a great girl. I'm just looking to support her because it's hard to do a podcast. It's hard to talk up here by yourself without somebody with you. So, but I need a moist counter. That's what I need. But you're in competition, whether you're, on Amazon, it's heavily about price, but on eBay, it's about listings and how good are your listings. Are you doing all the things? Item specific. Each category eBay has gone down to the details to understand that if you sell in, I don't know, health and beauty, the average products that sell the fastest, will have like 6 pictures. So they will tell you need more pictures. So, are you doing, but I've got this listed beard. I don't know why, are your prices competitive? Is your shipping competitive? Do you have the right number of pictures? And your title with keywords? Do you still use the little emojis or the little ats and flash and rare, the stupid words that take up? Do you dominate the first part of the title? The most important part of the title is those first 20, 25 letters. Do you get the vital information right there? Do you build titles correctly? I mean, there's so much to know about how you make a listing on eBay. It's not just let's just throw it up there and see what happens. That was so years ago. Now it's the economy, and don't think the economy doesn't have something to do with all the ups and downs. And I told you it's May 1st. We are at the precipice of the moaning and the groaning and the, oh my God, sales have died in the summer. We're getting close to that point where the gnashing of teeth and the wailing and the stuff is about to begin. So, do your part, build, gone are the days where, I can list, 200 in the next 30 minutes. You're much better off spending a minute or two extra per listing and understanding that you've built a quality listing. Especially if you have items that repeat. So, me in health and beauty, I'll sell some of the same items. And so it behooves me to build a great listing so I can use it again. Scott, the guy below you, did he get much sun exposure? No, Tom's on the boats. He never goes outside. He stays inside on the boats. Either that or he has the world's best sunscreen, one or the other.
I'm on 2 drugs that I'm not supposed to be out in direct sunlight.
But it's amazing how we don't treat this as some form of competition and building constantly strive to be better at this. Constantly strive. The answer. John and I talk about, and you guys will listen to it. I'm not going to give it all away, but a lot of it is there are so many things to this, and you got to be good at all of them. You've got to be good. You've got to be good at the price. You've got to be good at the listing. You've got to be good at sort. You've got to find items that people want. It's an overall picture of your store. I really think there's a rating. And Josh, Josh had a show where he talked to somebody. Josh, I remember you talking to somebody who did software or wrote code for the type of search that eBay changed to. And he really was under the assumption that your store is giving an overall rating based on, the quality, your sell-through rate, the quality of your listings. And from 0 to 1, I remember you talking about that. So don't discount the fact that, how good you are in your store and how good you perform and how well you do listings is going to affect where you are in search on every item you list, because your store has a rating. Discontinued suave made her hair poof.
Well, let me tell you what I'm doing this morning real quick, since we've already heard about the
piano.
No, I'm actually in negotiations in buying a hardware store that's going out of business.
Ooh.
So the price is starting to get a little pricey here. There's like 5 people looking at buying it. So if I do acquire it, I will be reaching out to all the resellers in the Columbia, South Carolina area. Because there is something like 4.2 million items in that store.
Good God.
Oh, wow.
And so most of it's like 12 light switches and 14 plugs and all this kind of BS. So this is not a public grid lag. The broker I've done some business with before, and he's only negotiating with people that he considers serious.
Very interesting. So, well,
no
good luck.
crackheads are allowed to bid.
Yeah, no crackheads.
Well, they want to keep it. They want to keep it kind of the fact that it's going out of business. They haven't announced that the bit store is going out of business yet. So, anyhow, if I jump up and run real fast, it's because I got to call Roberta and ask her if I can have some more money.
So but this goes across, this competition goes across, as a reseller, the one thing I've said, cross listing is not a bad thing, but the one thing about cross listing is each platform is different, and each platform has different ways they do their search, they do all of the, and so it increases the level of, everybody goes, oh man, just pay the fee, have the little thing, cross list, throw your stuff over there. What works on one platform, not necessarily working on another. You can't just list your items on eBay and throw them on Poshmark without doing any of the promoting and all that sharing and the social aspect of Poshmark and expect any kind of tangible results. You need to understand what gets you exposure, and not exposure to get you arrested, but exposure to customers to get your sales. Davis, I told you yesterday you're a troublemaker. You are a troublemaker. But it's, so you got to learn each platform and treat each platform as their own entity, because what works on one definitely will not work on the other. If you're a clothing seller that sells from the bins, and you'll never cross list that to Amazon, they don't allow used clothing. Certain other platforms don't allow. There's things that Mercari doesn't allow you to sell. So you've got to understand too which of your listings can go over, what are the strengths of, you know, the pricing structure on Macari is so crazy different and can get out of control with what the customer sees that you never sell anything because of all the extra fees that the customer is having to pay. So there's
If somebody's listening to you right now and they're thinking about getting in reselling, what platform would you tell them to start off on?
they need to, eBay is the easiest place to learn. There's no barrier to entry. If you screw up, eBay just kind of pat you on the back, said, please don't do that again. We know you didn't mean to. Please don't do that again. So I sold your first item on Walmart. Like that's one of my things to do today is get on Walmart today. So I've got the paperwork over there. I just got to get it to them. But no, Kent, I agree with you that cross listing can be very effective. In Vendu and List Perfectly and TreeCat are nice vehicles to help you do that. Automation is because I love the fact that with Bonanza, I shipped a Bonanza sale yesterday. It automatically picks up from eBay and does all thing. All I do is go, oh look, there's a sale, and I'll ship it out. But you still need to understand the platforms are different, and you need to learn the platforms. If you want to be a good Poshmark seller, you got to learn what works on Poshmark because it's not the same thing that works on eBay. It doesn't matter that Vendu sends your stuff over there. But everybody is agreeing that it's eBay. It's 100% eBay because of the eBay is still, for all the people that are moaning and groaning about eBay sales, there are still tons of people having great success on eBay. eBay still has a lot of sales, and it's a good place to really understand the basics about picking inventory, about valuation, about learning how to sell and what sells and how to follow rules and systems. eBay is without losing your account and an ability to sell forever because you listed the wrong brand on Amazon and didn't know any better. If you are going to start on Amazon as your first one, it's be smart enough, pick a category that is very easy, like books. That has been for years and it still is. Books has the least problems. Books, there's some textbook people that get mad. There's a few other publishers that get angry, but for the most part, books are everybody can sell. You can find them plenty. You can start learning which books and sales rank and everything with books on Amazon. But I would wholeheartedly do eBay.
I told you some time ago that I did a shipment and they lost some seats that never showed up in my inventory. Guess what's in my inventory now? The seats that disappeared 8 months ago.
Yeah, the platform, the other thing that there's so much to learn now, and it's not just about if you're going to sell a couple items here or there, but if you're going to treat this seriously and want to make this a side hustle, something that earns you the money, and you've got goals and these kind of things, it's a lot to learn. Reselling has become very complicated online because of just the sheer popularity and notoriety that it's attained over the last few years. You got big influencers like Gary Vee and others who have talked about yard sales to eBay and being able to make a living doing that. So Javis, so Bonanza's fees are cheaper than eBay's, and so as Bonanza pulls your items over, they reduce the price of your item by the difference in their fees, and so you will naturally make more money. But they don't deal with the promoted listings. So if you can get any kind of if Bonanza can find a way to drive some traffic, which is the name of the game on the internet, right? With no promoted listings, they've got things you can pay for over there. I don't, but you can make significantly more per item. So it'll reduce your price by about 3%, 4%, even, and you will make the same amount of money. The shipping is easy, but and you got to be careful, folks. Do you understand your numbers enough to know how much money you're spending to sell an item when you start promoting it 6, 7, 8%? It gets expensive quick. You jump from the 13 and a quarter into the 18, 19, 20% very, very quickly. And if you list, I listed an item the other day, and eBay suggested promoted rate was 18.6. I'm like, damn, eBay, why you got your hand all the way in my pocket? Will you scratch my ball sack while you're down there? Damn. That's terrible. 18.6. I mean, is there anybody in the chat that's willing to pay 32% to eBay to sell an item? 32.
Like does 100%. They closed the sale 189.5.
Well, it's for the hardware store.
For the hardware store.
So she didn't give you any more money.
She didn't give me any more money. Now that's about 150 was about my max on it, because I was gonna have to call Bridget from New York. I was gonna have to call Jim and Tara. I was gonna have to call everybody in my little black book. Those Alabama people. I was gonna have to call everybody and tell them to come buy some shit to get this stuff out of here. But
so Tom says if you bought it right, you can make 30% work. No, 100% agree. If you bought right, you can make 30% work. But I am not willing with the other platforms. I am not willing to pay eBay that much money. I just am not. How many people know, Tom? How many people understand their numbers to know, that they can make and what they're making on these? I see so many people that they sell it so cheap, and I'm looking at them like, even if you got it for free, you lost money. Yeah. So Phil says 44% of a gross sale on eBay on 2 of his stores is cost of goods of 7%. Yeah. I don't think eBay adds enough value. I will buy products that go on other platforms before I give eBay 30%. You know how much, and that's the problem I have with eBay is the fact that they have jacked these fees way up, and the ability for them to take so much more of your money whenever a platform like Amazon has so many more customers. So Amazon doesn't work for everyone, because if you sell items that can't be sold on Amazon, I get it. But I sell product that can be sold anywhere. So, and people go, but you really will sell used stuff on Amazon? Yeah. As long, describe it. It's like anything else. Describe it accurately. You can put pictures of used up there. If it's got issues or flaws, I don't list it on Amazon. You just got to be smart.
you sell a lot of CDs and Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading an article yesterday in a business magazine, and they were talking about they were talking about reselling in general, but they were talking about why DVDs and Blu-rays are still selling. They're still selling. And they had listed different reasons, but one of them, and I hadn't really thought of, is like some of these networks are streaming it because they own the rights to it, and then all of a sudden they decide to take it off of streaming. And people that like The Sopranos, they'll go out and buy a set of the DVDs or the Blu-rays just to have in their house when they want to watch some Sopranos. And they were talking about if you lose internet service, how many people lose their damn mind because they have nothing to do? They pop a daggum DVD or CD into their player and watch a movie.
I'm old. I just take a nap.
That's that too.
So the one thing everybody's saying in the chat is they have fees and they have room in their buy. So that's why I talked about this earlier. You've got to be good at everything. If you got to buy correctly, because your competition, this is a small sample size, 81 people watching, and thank you for watching. It's and quite a few people are saying, I've got room for that. You got somebody like Phil over there who's saying, he expects this to be in 2 of his stores. And so are you prepared? You're competing. How do you, when they're promoting and advertising at such a high level, you got to understand, how many people talk about that whenever, okay, so if I'm looking up an item, say this, I'm looking for this remote. That's just an example. Everybody wants to know how many remotes are listed. I go, well, there's like 30 of that remote listed. And then they click over and want to know how many are sold. And that's all they tell you. There's one thing they miss, nobody talks about looking at is, well, I've never heard anybody talk about it. I don't listen to YouTubers, so okay, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the one thing you should look at before you click the completed or the sold or whichever one of those, I always use completed, but is look on that list, how many of them are promoted? That's a quick indicator, you can look at them by, how many of them are promoted, and then click the price real quick to see where they are, lowest price first. How many people look at their competition to judge, well, this is a good item, but how hard is it to sell? How many times have people, YouTubers go, oh, it's what you sell. You need to add, high sell-through rate items on there. And people go, well, I did, and they're still not selling. But they never looked at the competition of if an item sells a lot, there are a lot of people wanting to sell it. So what's the competition, and what's the competition willing to do and to sell their item, via really low price, via how many sponsor it, how many sponsor listings there are for it. Okay, so the sponsor listings might not be your exact item, and Beard, you're wasting your time, but it gives you a good idea in that category how aggressive sellers are. But nobody talks about looking at them. They only bitch about all the stuff at the top of the search is not the item I'm looking for. But they never stop and understand the information that's being given to you. They just complain about it. All right, soapbox ready.
You were mentioning remotes.
I took all mine down, by the way. I decided that they are too slow a seller. I think that there's some things that should be niche products, and if I continue to buy remotes, I will make a store that's just remotes only.
Spectrum is getting ready to recall all their or do away with their set-top boxes. I mean, that's not something secret. That's something that's happening now. If you're with Spectrum and you have that cable service, you've probably been notified that they're doing away with it. Basically, what you're going to end up is with a Roku box-like type deal. That's what they're going to. So
that's why whenever you hear someone saying you should, I'm never going to promote on eBay. I'm not going to give them any more money. Let's form a union. You should discount anything those people say from the rest of their lives, because you should quickly understand that this is someone that has no idea how the reselling, how the platform works. Are there products that you don't have to or you can substantially promote less? There absolutely are. But just to say because eBay wants more money that you're never going to promote, and your sales are just fine, they are giving you a false belief. And it's the same thing is true for somebody else who says, man, you should promote everything at max. That's another person who doesn't understand that categories are different, items are different depending on how much competition and all those things that so Ken, where is the next meeting you're going to, and what will be your picture or the next? So for those of you who don't know Ken, SSK promo, he has a headshot of somewhere different every time he goes to an event. So and they are exclusive. Even though the Cincinnati exclusive he had with him, I'm like, how can they be exclusive, Ken, if you've got the Cincinnati ones with you? And he gave me some mumbo jumbo about he knew who was there, but I think he was selling them on the side. You give him a couple extra dollars and he'll give you an exclusive picture.
Did you say Ken? That's
Yeah,
SSK.
Yeah.
Ken, all the big cable companies are getting rid of them. They're phasing them out because they're competing with Roku. All our TVs are Roku. You know, I don't even have a cable box hooked up to it.
Are they gonna come up with like an app that like Roku or whatever uses that's on the smart TV? So you've got your own like Spectrum app?
They already have one.
Okay.
It's already there. Like I said, I don't even have the cable box hooked to the one in the den. I go directly to the app if I go in to look at the weather. I don't really watch TV, broadcast TV, cable TV.
But peddling profits, you say it correctly though. You said we rarely promote. We try to buy items that don't need to be promoted. But that tells me that you look at the item and decide whether it needs to be promoted or not. So it's not that you don't promote, it's you decide on a case by case basis whether it is in your advantage to promote. And that's what I'm saying. You know, you need to understand the items you sell, the categories you're in, what the competition is, and what they do. And if it's advantageous to promote because there's a lot of them out there, and for some reason something you pick up, so you could tell by someone's comment how they are, you know what I mean? That if you drawing a line in the sand and I'm not going to do it, the reasons, listen to someone. They'll tell you their reasons. And definitely event exclusive. I told you event exclusive. Hey Pat, it's good seeing you again, Pat. So Pat Dees was there. Ken was there in Nashville. Saw Jacob earlier. Jacob and his brother David were there. It's good to see. We don't care about you, Jacob. Good that you brought David with you. Y'all had a good story though that he walked into a truck. I bet you're the one that broke David's nose. Jacob's violent. Y'all got to watch Violent. He was in the Amish Mafia. Yeah, so Lag's right. YouTube TV has TV moves and everything without the need. But it's
Scott, do you think some of this anti-promotion stuff is kind of lazy because it takes time to do it?
Now, I think the anti-promotion stuff is because they have decided that that's eBay's way. And I do agree to a certain extent. eBay found a way to make more money per listing and rolled this out. But they're also discounting the competition and what the other sellers are willing to do. I don't know if it's because they bought with a certain, but they need to make a certain amount of money, and if you promote, they lose that. If they bought wrong, and I'm not going to buy anything to sell on eBay that I don't have room. If I want to promote, I can do whatever I want to. That is, Larry was there as well. Two hip chicks, Dawn and Mary were there. We had a lot of fun. Harlan and his new girlfriend, we're not going to call her wife, but girlfriend were there. They didn't secretly get married like I thought they were going up there. Their little rings are actually aura rings. Joni made an appearance. Jennifer was there. Who else was there? Ray was there because he held the event, so that was cool. I met two other bearded YouTubers, and after consulting with them and talking to them and vetting them out, I approved them to carry the beard moniker since I'm the OG. Yeah. What the hell was that?
Sorry.
Todd's getting his daily dose of rap in.
Checking markets. Bitcoin is down.
Yeah, Rural Score, Kristen was there. I've met Kristen at least once, maybe twice before. She's really, really nice. I do like her. Who else? The other bearded guys were Bearded Thrift Finds and Beard King Picker. That dude's beard, it's just everywhere. I can't do that because I have a CPAP machine. And Johnny would kill me, but long trip home. I said lag was right, and I didn't mean to make that mistake. Appreciate that. Thanks, Larry.
It looked like Scott.
But there's so many ways of doing all these things. You know, a lot of the same things are on the YouTube or just, you know, you're still fighting for an algorithm. And that's the word people use a lot, but I don't think they consider what an algorithm really is. You know, an algorithm is a computer program of things that how it makes you in a rank. And so it's just not one item, you know, if you promote, you're going to do well. That's not the way an algorithm works. If you're a terrible seller and you've got a bunch of, you know, your return rate's high, and your not as subscribed rates are high, but you're the cheapest, or you promote the most, that's not going to get you to the top of search. You've got to do most things well in order to get Josh, don't they make pills for that? And your video
goatee picker.
And your videos of you yelling in storage units are pretty funny, by the way. A little short. If you're not following Josh, he'll make videos every now and then. A lot of shorts. He's rather entertaining for 60 seconds.
Oh, short YouTube videos. I thought he was
short. Yeah, YouTube short. He lives in Canada. It's probably still snowing up there.
Probably so.
Yeah, the one where he found the jewelry box with some good stuff in it. That was great.
The ED picker. Yeah, somebody needs to come out as the ED picker. But it's so an algorithm. So it's not, so if you're focused solely on should I promote this, but you're not competing in your category, and you got one picture up there and your price is a little high and your description, eBay, every time eBay suggests something, right now they're suggesting you give the discount of your shipping back. They don't want you to overcharge shipping. They've always pushed free shipping, so you get a boost in search based on free shipping. So I can tell you right now that the shipping part of the algorithm is going to be more punitive, because there are going to be more and more people that opt into this thing, and so the shipping is going to be more competitive. And so if you're one of these people who has stupid shipping, you're going to be at the bottom. It's going to be something that weighs down your listing. You're going to wonder, why can't I get this? Why can't I get this up in search? It's you've got to do everything well, and it's.
Do you think also you've got listings? You got a bunch of listings. You've got them reasonably priced within the spectrum of whatever that product is. The little things like that. Do you think that makes a difference in it? Because I know they like for you to handle your. I'm not talking to you, Lag. They like for you to handle your merchandise. So So
I had something. Okay, so on the book front, I switched gears on books. I am now reading Atomic Habits. That Blue Ocean Strategy is a good book, but I kept thinking, how am I going to talk about this? And so I kind of put it off, and I'm like, I finally just punted Really an interesting book, the way it talks about, the different markets and how to have success coming up with new items and where to sell. But it had formulas and strategies and stuff that were that book. I went from books that were easy to explain, easy to talk about, to one that got complicated pretty quick. So I punted and went to Atomic Habits. So I will pick up.
That book is a little bit like watching an ant bed, It's
Yeah,
fascinating for a while, and then you're like, this just keeps going.
And that guy with that drone voice I was listening to, I almost drove right off a cliff a couple times, and I had to pull the van back. But real smart stuff if you think about it. But it's hard to apply that to reselling, other than the fact that the markets you sell in and the items.
It sounds like an economics class.
So I'm now reading Atomic Habits. So if you'd like to read Atomic Habits, that'll be the next one we do. Just talking about small incremental change. I'm into like the third chapter. I think he really talks about the psychology behind building habits, building effective habits, correcting bad ones, and I think we can all use help with that. So,
what's it called?
Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits.
Okay, I do that every morning after coffee.
I started back up because I realized that I felt terrible and I was eating terrible, so I went back to eating clean keto again, and so I'm sure that this coffee is going to send me to the bathroom right after the show.
But don't you think there are some things that just don't need to be promoted, like any piece of gold jewelry? I've sold every piece I've ever had. I don't feel like it needs to be promoted.
So I promote everything for the most part. I promote everything. Where I differentiate is, and I don't think you have to promote everything. That there are antiques and other things that you shouldn't have to. But so I go on the spectrum of when I set the listing up, what the competition is and how fast I think this item will sell. And like I listed something yesterday, and it told me that my promoted suggested listing was 14.8, and I told it they can have 5.1, and I had two of them, and they sold yesterday. Neither one of them were promoted, so I will at least throw a little bit of dollars at it to see what happens. I don't want to not put any money at it. That's just my own personal theory, and that's what I challenge you is understand what you sell, understand the market you sell in, and understand the benefits of using all these systems. And if you decide that there's some items that don't need it, I can't say you're wrong, but my philosophy is I'm going to promote everything. It's just some things that I don't think that need it will get a lot less stuff. I try to stay in the 8% range. I'll go as low as 3%, just because. So Tom said he sold a fly rod without promote. Every time I look at something that sells on eBay and there's no promotions, I do a little happy dance.
Yeah, I mean, a World War II knife. I brought this home from the auction yesterday. If you're looking for a World War II knife, there aren't that many competitors out there on it. So I don't know. If I do promote, it won't be for much.
Like said that he's going to get started with this hardware tomorrow.
Okay.
Kent, I'm glad you agree. I think that's the point. Is there's no blanket, there's no right, there's no wrong. I'm not here to tell you that my boring reseller life. I think he's changed his name, but James. I can't remember your new name. I'm sorry, buddy. He has a ton of inventory that he has had that he bought. He is crazy cheap in that he's got paid for. Am I going to say James is wrong for listing items and having a huge store? That's a business model that's worked for him for the last 23 years, and he knows his business, and he actively tries things and does things to get through these things. And it works for him. It might not work as good as he wants it to, and he's still working and tweaking. I get it. I'm not telling you he's, and I'm not going to say that somebody like John John's got 250, 300 items in his store and is constantly adding new ones and has items that are, is that a better way? What do you want to do? I can't list 200 a day. So I'm on the smaller side. But there are people out there, like before Dusty passed, Dusty had gotten deep into postcards and was doing really well. He would sit down in a couple, 3 hours, would have 300 postcards listed. I mean, it was crazy how dedicated he was to, he'd sit down and get in listing mode 3-4 times a week and just hammer through, get, thousands of listings. I can't do that. I know how I am. I am so AD, shiny object, squirrel.
Those are when you've got like the bicycle stuff that I've been selling. You can do a listing for a bike seat. It's of the same brand as some other ones I have. So it's easy to flip through them. But people like Bridget Baker, who goes to an auction and comes home with a daggum van, one of these big transit vans full of crap. And by the next Friday, she's got all that stuff listed. I would go batshit crazy because every one of them, normally everything is different. She's not buying 10 of one item. She's buying one.
I wish I had that ability, Tom. I just don't.
I don't. My attention span will not take it. I do good for these hour shows,
So I think this is important enough that I'm going to highlight it. Larry, I appreciate your comment. Says that Kevin marks down every 90 days. I tend to agree. Folks, if you're serious about tracking your items and understand that the date of how long they've been on there, I think that's a huge factor in stores. And because I think the sell-through rate of your store has an effect of you on search, a bigger effect than we care to realize. And so if you want to, remember, eBay is Amazon's little brother. They're doing everything they can to be like Amazon. And Amazon over the last few years has really made it where if your items, or especially if they're FBA, don't sell in 90 days, they start charging you higher fees. And they really have set up ways to track it, to tell you the age of your inventory. And I think it would behoove you to understand, okay, so if you're an antique seller like Josh and Peddling Prop, I get it. Antiques are not going to be that way. But if you sell the other things, if you sell normal daily items, stuff that you can find normally, they're not one-offs. If it's been listed for 90 days, you need to understand and are you looking at your items to determine why in the world why is it not selling at 90 days? Is it the price? Is it the promotion? Is it, where is it at? I mean, is it the pictures? You've got to figure out the reason. And I agree with, I like what Kevin does. The fact that an item's at 90 days, he starts putting it on discount. Now, somebody I talked to, I never did it, talked about using in your store, making a clearance section. And once it's so long up, they put it at 50, 60% clearance just so just to get rid of it. Was that Tamara that was talked about that? I think it might've been Tamara. I'm not 100% sure. Dustin, I hate him too, man. So I keep getting, and this, look at the old man's memory. I thought that was Tamara. Look at me go. I've been getting quite a few of those too, and I'll be the only one on the listing, and it'll allow me to list it today, and then tomorrow it'll be high price errors. I'm like, I've sold out at this price. Why are you now not the last one? I'll put another one up and it'll go high price. I'm like, I just sold 6 of this item. Why is it high price today when last week I could sell whatever I wanted to? And so those items are quickly coming to eBay because the Amazon model is, for a lot of items, does very well for discontinued, but you better sell on eBay. You better have another outlet, because if you're wanting to get full price for some of these items, because
So they're saying that you're charging too much for it.
see, Amazon talks out of both sides of their mouth. We really give eBay a bad. For most YouTubers, eBay gets criticized, and Amazon kind of skates by when Amazon is really the big evil of the two. You don't until you've sold on Amazon, you don't realize how oppressive and evil those bastards over in Washington State really are. eBay is just eBay is your buddy who ribs you and gives you a hard time and pushes you. Amazon's out that damn bully down the street that if you step on a crack on the sidewalk, he beats your ass. If you look his direction, he punches you in the mouth and your eye looks like this. Sorry.
That we're
That's what happened. I looked at Amazon the wrong way, and Amazon reached across and punched my eye out. That's what happened to my eye.
Yeah, no, that's where he walked into he walked into Joni's fist for waking her up while they're on their trip.
Oh my! She woke my ass up at 4 o'clock this morning. I don't want to hear it. Because the problem with one of us waking up to go to the bathroom, we're both old, is then Franklin, God love him, Franklin has to come lick you in the face. He has to come lay on top of you. I'm like, Franklin, Phoebe's a little rock. She never wakes up. Franklin, somebody's awake. He's like Odie. And so if y'all remember the Garfield, Franklin is a lot like Odie. Yeah. But it makes no sense because the item that I was trying to list yesterday at $22.99, it sells for $7 in the store. Amazon will say, 6 times the price of retail is about as high as we want you to go. And they've said that over and over 6 times. But I'm only at 3 times, and they're hitting me with a hammer saying you can't sell this, you can't sell this. I've got 4 or 5 items that are really good items that I am selling on eBay because, and you look at my store and you go, but dude, why is that stuff on eBay? Why is it not on Amazon? Because you can't get the price on Amazon. I have a couple items on Amazon so Amazon will give you a reference price. For those of you who don't sell on Amazon, whenever you have a high price error, it'll give you the average selling price over the last. They don't tell you how many days, but they'll show you something that they tell you is the average selling price. They'll tell you what the reference price is, and then they'll tell you what the item is currently the current buy box, whatever that. Right. So I have an item. I'm the only seller. I've been the only seller. So the current selling price is 0 because nobody's had any on there for like 9 months. The reference price, they don't have one, and there's no buy box, and they're telling me my price is high. I'm like, how are you making this fucking decision when you have no history for this thing? I put it at the price it last sold at, and so it was allowed to sell at the price that I have it listed at. But now you're coming and telling me that it's too high price for customers. You've allowed this exact price in the past. You have no reference price. You have no anything, but yet being the Amazon that it's too fucking high.
Do you think they're looking at? Are you looking at? Think they look back at the manufacturer's suggested retail price, and that's what they're going by?
If they did, it would be in the suggested, Tom. They didn't have one. See,
because like you said many times before, you sell a lot of stuff that is being discontinued, and people won't, and they're willing to pay the money to get it.
This is going to be controversial. I'm here to tell you that because of, I think that Amazon, because they're trying to do things in the name of the customer and these things, their marketplace is slowly the free market. Amazon is not a free market, and it's slowly slipping into a controlled, almost, I'm not going to say communist because communist is the wrong word, but it is a highly regulated market that is not controlled by supply and demand, where eBay still allows to a certain extent some of the supply and demand and the marketplace, because as prices go up, you'll look at it and go, I can get it way cheaper on eBay, or 10, 15, 20% cheaper on eBay. It's because eBay goes up and down more with the supply and demand in a market, and Amazon is slowly losing that to where they are such a controlled
Price fixing.
Amazon is 100% Amazon is price fixing. They 100% Amazon price fixes without a doubt. There is no such thing. I mean, you can come at me all you want to. There is no such thing as as price gouging. Price gouging does not exist. The market should determine the price of an item. And I'll even go as far as telling you that if you live in a hurricane area and they come in and they want to sell you water for $10 a bottle, that is not price gouging. And the reason why I would tell you it's not price gouging is because I lived in one of those areas. If you pull that shit, they will run you out of business when it's over with.
Yeah.
The community will say F you, and you will be, that temporary gain in money you have will be lost because they will run you out of business because of your selling practice so bad and you're a hateful person. So there is no such thing as price gouging. Price gouging is for weak-minded people who think. Remember, we're in a society right now that is so self-entitled that they think they are entitled to everything because they exist. You're not entitled to the fruits of my labor, to the items I have, except for at my price. Oh, you're 100% right. They make you Bud Light quickly. If you make those kind of decisions, they make you Bud Light very quickly. That's why in Nebraska right now, and I pray for those people that they're getting through this craziness. That was another F5 tornado. That you go in there and treat them people bad, they will destroy you in the next 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
So don't take advantage of people. Be a good human.
But you know what? Like I had some Mary Kay blush. They haven't made it in 20 years. I got some in a box from a neighbor down the street. And, I shook it up and I opened it up to check to see if it was still even liquid in the inside of it. And I listed it on eBay. And this woman from Washington State, since you mentioned that name, ordered every one of them. And, and wanted me to do express shipping, which meant if I shipped it today, it's supposed to be in her house in the morning by 10 o'clock.
Not across the country.
Yeah. When people want it, they want it. They'll pay for what they need or they won't. I mean, remember, most of these people don't remember it, but when the Tickle Me Elmo dolls came out, those damn things were going for 40 times the price of them. People were paying thousands of dollars for those damn things because people wanted them. They wanted them for their kids, and they were willing to pay for what it took to get it.
So that's why I always promote a little bit, and that's why my decision on eBay is to promote, because eBay is much more of a freer market than Amazon or platform, and because eBay decided that their search was like Amazon's for sale, because they understood, if you look at the regular market, how much money people spend in advertising in order to get advantage. There's reason why certain brands are more popular than others. It's not that Tide is any better of a laundry detergent than Kirkland. The same company probably makes them both. It's just that one spends way more on advertising than the other to get in your face. And so eBay goes, you know what? There are sellers out there that are willing to spend the 30% like Phil in order to move their product to get in front of more customers, to pay advertising like everybody else does. And so that's why you can say promoted listings, eBay saw it as a cash grab, but you also got to understand that eBay also looked at the market and go, well, if advertising works on one segment of the market in order to gain, because there are stores out there and products out there that they get a significant advantage because they are willing to pay Walmart placement fees to be on the top shelf or in the middle at your eye level. You can tell the companies that don't do it because they're on the bottom shelf. Go in a Walmart right now, and every name brand you've ever heard of is eye level or at the top. The stuff that you go, what the hell is that? It's on the bottom shelf, folks. Try me on this one. Go to the grocery. It's 100% on the grocery. The stuff that's at your ankles down there is probably just as good a food or very acceptable. but they are not paying the same price that for placement in a Walmart.
For those that don't know, a shelf space is like real estate. These companies buy that shelf space. And if somebody comes along and offers them more money, like Walmart, Food Lion, whoever, more money for it, that eye level shelf space, you get demoted. You get moved to a higher shelf or a lower shelf.
So, Larry, 100%. Hotels in Kentucky will triple the price this weekend for the Derby. Is that price gouging? That is not price. That is called supply and demand. There is a heavy demand on that, so the price will go up. The demand will go down immediately on Monday. The price will return to normal because that is what the hotel room is worth on a day when you can get one anytime. What is the hotel room worth on Saturday of the Derby? Stupid money. And the same thing. I mean, that is not price gouging. That is supply and demand. That is the market reacting to the demand of a price, the demand of a product. The price goes up. As soon as the demand for the product goes back to normal, the price returns to normal. That is supply and demand. That is not price. People, the simpletons look at it as price gouging. I should be able. I'm entitled. I demand your service at what I want to pay for it, no matter when it is. That is anti-capitalism, anti-market, self-entitled. I demand this. That don't work.
Back in the day, when I was a teenager, way back yonder, nothing was open on Christmas Day. Nothing was open. If you needed a prescription, you had to go to the hospital to get it filled. Well, my junior and senior year, a couple of buddies and I decided that we were going to go out and we're going to spend our life savings on batteries. And on on Christmas morning at 6:00, we had our cars parked on the corner of Oakland and Cherry Road, and we had batteries for sale. Because how many parents, and if you've got kids, you probably have done the thing, they lost their shit because they realized that this toy that Santa was bringing needed some batteries.
Walgreens never closes, by the way.
Well, that's before Walgreens. Like I said, well, see, South Carolina until probably the 80s had a blue law that nothing was open on Sundays except
wrong button.
Just a very few things. But anyway, like I said, we made a killing and we tripled our money per battery because people did not want to disappoint their little one, and they needed some batteries for their electronic football game, which took 40 size batteries, and Mama's special device that we resell every now that takes 60 size batteries. And
Can't walk was it D batteries? Mom needed some too. There you go.
Yeah. Well, that's what I just said. But were we gouging? We weren't breaking any laws because even policemen would stop by and say, I need to get some of these. My wife, left a message for me.
But not every industry follows this, because look at Waffle House. They charge you the same no matter what time it is, and they're open every day. They're open go look at a Waffle House on Christmas Day. It'll be full. And they don't charge any different.
No.
They take advantage of the fact that that's a day that they know they're going to be busy. So there's two ways to look at that. You also have days when you realize that you're the only game in town. And do you make your customers mad, or do you make that an opportunity? See, there's two ways to look at it. Do you make that an opportunity to where you show them, hey, this is Waffle House. And if you've noticed, Waffle House has been cleaning their act up lately. They've got a new CEO. They're knocking down some restaurants and trying to change their image a little bit. But they're open. They're open every Christmas. They're open every Thanksgiving.
They're open 24 days a week, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. They made those, but they never close. And there's always cars in front of their, always there.
Well, Renee, hopefully you're healing so that you can start walking better. Being injured sucks.
Yeah.
It's Tom was price gouging, so lag determined you were price gouging.
Okay, well, guess what? I had a tremendous demand. We had a tremendous demand for 16, 17-year-olds. We were rolling in the bucks.
Hey, so Waffle House. Donald says Waffle House has a special Valentine's Day dinner for couples. I didn't know that. A 2-pack of 9 volts for 20. Larry, where were they made out of gold? What the hell? Flag waving America. At first, I read that as Mexicans. I'm like, has Gary lost his mind?
Mr. Sadie, were those the batteries they discontinued because they had, something in them that's hazard to people's lives or whatnot? Because they had some 9-volt batteries that they had to pull off the markets.
But then you look at, all we've talked about so far is platforms. Now, we've not talked about the economies of the world and of your country and, the U.S. economy. On TV, they tell you it's the most wonderful economy ever as prices are through the roof. Jobs are being slashed everywhere. And the TV the TV constantly, the CIA is constantly telling you how great the life is. Yeah, right. As people struggle more and more and the middle class is being decimated, the idiot box from the CIA is telling you how wonderful everything is.
Todd, should we try to demonetize this show today?
Have I not done that yet?
No, you haven't yet. I honestly think that YouTube is kind of backed off on all that kind of stuff because they've sent out an announcement that they weren't going to be so aggressive on cussing. Because, using the F word more than once would get you would get demonetized for that video.
I mean, if you want me to demonetize this, I can. YouTube, there are at least 4 Joe Bidens. They run around with masks on. He is probably in a coma somewhere dead in Obama's basement. He's running the country. He didn't win the 2020 election. What else you want me to tell you?
Well, that should do it right there if they're listening.
The dead president was elected by the dead voters. There you go. Anything else you want to hear? Hey, man, Goose, what's up, man? It was good seeing you. I enjoy seeing you, meeting Kimmy, and meeting little Charlie. That's good stuff, man.
Is that Bluebell cookies and cream? Is that some good stuff? Good. I was speaking Japanese. Go dog go.
I'm gonna make it easy for you. That's Gary.
Okay.
But it's there's I tell you that you need to learn all these things and be an expert on each of the platforms you sell on. And then I have neglected to even tell you need to understand what the market, the economy. Find a source that you can trust, that you understand how the economy and demand and world and people's. That's why I tell you that you're in competition on these platforms for every dollar, because the money they have to spend is getting taken up by everything else. Look at the cost in your own life, the cost of insurance, the cost of food, the cost of housing, the taxes have gone up. I mean, everything in your life is tripled over the last 3 years. Yet the TV is telling you how wonderful it is. Please elect us again. You need to fire every fucking one of them up there.
Vintage is going off to make sourdough bread. Does she not realize that 75% of the people in this chat is on keto and can't eat bread?
It's insane. The only job in America where you can absolutely do everything against the people that elected you in the worst interest of everybody of your job and be absolutely piss poor at it and go, look how good I'm doing. Put us up here again. What the fuck? When are we going to say enough's enough and get rid of all these SOBs? I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. The elections are rigged. It don't matter. Republican, Democrat, whatever. They are all rigged because they understand that they need both sides of this bird. How many birds have you ever seen flying on one wing? To make the bird fly, you got to have both wings. You need the Republicans and the Democrats who are both bought and sold, who probably all rape children, and I've got videos of them. There you go. Demonetize the show. I don't give a flat.
That one just totally, my thought just went clean out of my mind out on that one. What I was going to say was, companies, well, normal companies, if they have a CEO and their executive staff and they're running a company into the ground, the stockholders usually get pissed off and start firing people. And that's that's the same thing that needs to be done now is people need to be fired. It don't matter what your party is. They just need to be
You want me to prove it to you? They pushed Mike Johnson out here and told us that he was the answer. He wasn't for the little man, that he was not bought and sold. And he has given Ukraine and all the rest of them so much damn money and signed up with the Democrats and sold us out just like anybody else as fast as this coffee can make me hit the toilet after the show. That's how fast that Mike Johnson sold out the conservative new MAGA side of the Republican Party.
Beard is Beard is getting on the Newsom.
They all suck. I don't
president campaign.
You're never gonna ever hear me say one side or the other anymore because they all suck. We are screwed. So that's why I've ignored politics altogether, because concentrate on your own life. Do what you can to affect your life. It just happens that we are in there's nothing you can do about it. There's no drain in the swamp. The swamp has this, not without a big bomb, you're not going to drain the swamp. So
it's got a bunch of springs coming into it, so it's constantly full of water.
The problem is if you drain the swamp, look at your local politics and how they didn't get to Washington and go, now I'm crooked. Now I can screw everybody. They learned that in your local area. They are currently screwing you. Look at your school boards that are allowing these predators to go into women's bathrooms. This doesn't happen. These are state and local issues. They could stop all this. Look at the books they're putting in your schools and everything they're doing and how they're teaching your children. It starts at the local level. They are screwing you from one way to Sunday, every way up. They all need to go.
Because people are scared. They're scared to voice their opinion.
I ain't scared.
I know.
I'll tell them what I think. They all suck. And that's why I work for myself, because God forbid I had an employer anymore.
Beard that chain. Well, it's like, you need to take care of yourself, like you said. You need to have some extra groceries in the house, have a little silver, gold, and liquor in the house. Not the liquor for not drinking, but for like if you need to trade for stuff. You got to start doing stuff like that. Just
the best thing I ever did was a year and a half ago decide all of this and realize that it was doing nothing but making me angry. There was really nothing I could do about it. So I quit listening to all of it. Folks, I did not even find out there was a tornado in Nebraska until I saw it on TikTok 2 days later. I honestly didn't have any clue that it had even happened. And I feel terrible for those folks. But I don't watch any. When I tell you I don't watch any news, I don't watch anything. Just don't.
Todd, that's the reason our channels have not lost its monetization in quite a while. Scott quit looking at the news.
Right.
I don't watch it at all. I mean, I don't watch it at all. It is, it is so hard to make it in this day and age. And with, reselling has become so competitive. I got back to getting out on the road. I got back to taking care of me. That's if you want to know who's going to take care of you and your business, it's you. So learn these platforms. Do what's in the best interest of your own business and your own livelihood. You can't wait around for somebody else. There aren't any handouts. They're not. If they're anything, they're coming for more of your money. I hate everybody, John. This is non-political. I hate them all, John. And there's nothing you can do about it. A smart guy who I hang out with a lot told me this about 2 years ago. And I'm like, oh, you're just crazy. And I kept watching it for another 6 months. But Harlan is truly right. There's nothing, you really can't do anything about it. You know, okay, so in November, they're going to tell you whoever's elected in November, the other side is going to tell you the world is coming to an end. You just got to go on with your life, because really, what can you do to change it? There's nothing. If you think your vote counts, I got some swampland out in Nebraska somewhere to sell you. Good luck. Good luck. So, understand that, and that's why I tell you, there's no conspiracy on eBay out to make your store. None of that stuff. Because just think about, people will say eBay's out to get them. eBay doesn't want this. Remember, eBay is trying their best to get sales to go through. If they don't have sales, guess what? They go out of business like anybody else. Yeah, I just sent funny stuff to Gary and okay, so here you go right here. I had not been on TikTok in a long time until the last couple of days. And last night when I was scrolling through TikTok, I saw 4 or 5 pure lie Democratic CIA posts, and I deleted the app. Fuck them. I don't want to hear from the Democrats. I don't want to hear from the Republicans. I don't want to hear from any of them. At least Instagram, you don't see that as much. So I went back to where I've been on Instagram messing around, because it's just, I want to see the guy that wrecks his car or jumps a motorcycle and lands on his ass, whatever.
I got a call from the Vote Joe Biden campaign. It was one of the robocalls. I had to call them back and say, I'm on a do not call list. What the fuck are you calling me for? And that's exactly what I told them. And I said, it doesn't matter who the candidate is why are you calling me? Well, we didn't, I guess our list doesn't, does not ping against the do not call list.
Yeah, is Roman still alive, Vanessa? I haven't seen Roman post anything funny lately. He's in charge of keeping me entertained. But life is so difficult right now, and to make it and to stay above water, that I don't have time to be distracted. I don't have time. I don't have time to be angry. I don't have time for any of that stuff. I put all that away. The hell with all that. Let's get about taking care of me and my family and what I need. The hell with the rest of these folks. And at some point, you have to reach that conclusion. In any minute you spend not pursuing your goals, and you make it more difficult on yourself. That you can stay angry and mad at the world if you watch politics. And I choose to put my effort into getting rid of all this mess behind me and buying more stuff. Eric says you can get paid if they call you. So Roman's mom's sick. I hate that. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I found out Saturday while I was at the event that my mom was in the hospital because she wouldn't tell us. She got bit by a brown recluse and didn't want to bother us that she was in the hospital for like 4 days.
Won't that kill you? Or can't that kill you?
They can, but in order to deal with the bite, folks, I'm telling you, you can make. My mother is 77 years old buying damn storage units. What the hell is she got by not going through a storage unit without putting gloves on, got bit by a brown recluse?
Well, she doesn't, she never knows when her Social Security is going to run out. So you got to try to pad it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And somebody said something about the cats. She's over here sleeping. He's over there sleeping, and he's over there sleeping.
They have to give you heavy. She said now all the skin's coming off. You have to give heavy duty antibiotics at the hospital in order to deal with the bite. John says he's a white recluse. Interesting. Have you bitten anybody lately, John? It's terrible. But but it's there's you can constantly be interrupted or get busy about if you're bored, do like these two do. Go on a freaking cruise. Go find something to do. So James said he lost a chunk of a finger. Ew. Yeah, she's out of the hospital now. They just, in order to give her the antibiotics or whatever, she named them off because she's a retired nurse. I knew what they were. I just know they're heavy duty. Lag made a brown recluse this morning. I don't know why I found that funny, but that's funny.
The 12-year-old boy came out in you.
It's truly take care of your business. Focus on what's important, and to each one of you, 87 people, it's going to be what's important to you in your life is going to be different that for each and every one of you. So you got to the best thing you can do is prioritize your life. Did I find anything good in Nashville? Yeah, I'll show you. I talked about it earlier. Apartment 56 Halloween looks like this. I got this one for $3. I got like 16 or 17 pieces, $3 to $5 each. This one is actually open. What's it worth? A lot of it's not even available. It is so evidently it's rare because it's. So this one pre-owned is there's only one on there and they want $42 for it. Goodbye. Let's see if it's actually. And has anybody sold one? No, because there's only one for sale. No, so they want $42. So coming to eBay shortly, like by $38. I got a whole box of those. But there was a countywide yard sale up there, and there was plenty to go around for all the resales. Everybody, that's the amazing thing about when you spend time and do that kind of stuff, is everybody has such a different eye. People buy so much different stuff. Depending on where you can sell it. So it's really challenging in order to buy more things and sell more things, develop your eye, develop places to sell. If you have lots of yard sales, man, you can make money on whatnot. I'm telling you, there are a lot of people up there. And I told you that Paul, Philly Flipper, rode with us. He was buying at the yard sales and he is selling all. You can check him out on Saturday on whatnot. He is selling everything Saturday that he picked up at the yard sales with us. So,
so are you going to jump on the whatnot bandwagon? The bandwagon?
I don't know. It's because I have the local auction. I have to buy so much just to fill that space up.
Right.
It's harder. But if you have, especially if you have multiples of those kind of things, maybe I had the big girl show. Yeah, Glenn, he took your spot. I miss seeing you, man. So Glenn was supposed to be there, but he stayed to take care of him. I got a lot of respect for you, Glenn, that you was staying to help your mom. So that's
he's a good Southern boy.
You made a good decision. Even though my mom's crazy as hell, won't even tell you when she's in the hospital. Yeah. Barry, you sold us out. We don't even want to hear it. You chose to see Steve and see all the rest of us.
Well, that's right. Steve was in our area this past weekend.
They told me I should ban you from the show, Barry, but I said because I still owe you one from Vegas, I can't ban you yet.
And this is Scott said big girls, and you didn't give them a shout out.
There was only one house. There was only one house for all that Halloween, but there was a bunch of accessories, like that one. Like that one is brand new, never opened. It's worth $90 because it's the Harley one. It's sold at $90. That one I can't even find one anywhere. With the little monkey and the guy. At some point after looking at this, and this one's never been opened either. After looking up the first one or two, I'm like, I'll just take them all.
What year were those things made?
What else we got? We'll pull out another one. That's a good looking one. Don't forget to tip your server.
What's the date on them? Is there a date on them?
Even if there was, I wouldn't be able to read it.
Come on, Fred, get your glasses out.
They're over there somewhere. All right, you're gonna make me.
That's sad.
I have to do like 2013.
Okay, they're pretty old then. No, they're not. They're 12 years old.
That's not old until you
No.
stop and think the 80s were 40 years ago. Oh my God. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. But there was so much out there for everyone. You know, Harlan filled up his truck. We filled up the back of the van. There were lots of people that they had some cool clothing finds, stuff that I would never look at. Yeah, very, very interesting. But those Halloween at the first yard sale were my best find. Like, I did not realize I was going to shoot my whole wad the first yard sale. What the hell? Easy on the 40. Yeah. Like, you're old. Just because you're the oldest of 8 doesn't make you old, Jacob. Just because you feel old because you hang out with David. He's only 27. The 70s weren't bad. I did like the 80s though. And I found a calculator, a scientific calculator is laying there for $2. It's worth 90. It's an HP. Folks, look up every HP calculator. Jeez. I got motorcycle saddlebags. Joni got a couple pieces of Pyrex, but since she was in the front seat riding around with us, when I got back to the van with those, she claimed those, so they're gone. They were gonna go to the auction, but she claimed them. I picked up a cool book. If the book was brand new, man, this is the craziest stuff. It looks like this. It's called. It just looks innocent. The Shore Break of Clark Little.
Uh-huh.
And it's some amazing pictures. That's the front cover of the book. And it's a picture book of all his pictures. It's worth like $50 or $60. If it was new, it'd be $500. It would be new, it'd be $500. It was just laying there for, I think I paid $4, $5, something. So Javis, you might be right. If it's an HP calculator at $2, yeah, you don't have to look it up. Just buy the damn thing.
Yeah, because if nothing else, donate it to your local school if if it's not worth anything. Because man, the ones that they're requiring the high schoolers to have around here now are is that like $240 model.
Yeah, that one's a good one. It's one of those. So I'll get it listed today. But here's a great model for, start yourself a YouTube channel. Start showing because it's real popular for people to see what they buy at yard sales. You just need a little bit of a personality. I failed at that because I don't have a personality. But you can show people what you buy and say, hey, this is on my Shopify site, and lower your fees dramatically. And therefore you could sell things at an aggressive price because Shopify fees are way lower than eBay or Amazon. There's so many ways, or do like Paul does. He's going to make a video about everything I picked up. I'll be selling this stuff on Whatnot on Saturday. Come check it out. There's so many ways to drive traffic, and yeah.
For the Ben's shoppers, because I don't shop at Ben's anymore because the women have got so damn aggressive. I worry about my life.
Shout out to the
I
aggressive.
did stop by. Well, I stopped by there to look at a computer they had in their electronics store, and I looked into the bins, and it just didn't seem as full as it used to be. Is that kind of like dropping off, slowing down, or have they just built so many damn around Charlotte now that they've got everybody displaced?
Okay, so for those of you who don't understand, when Tom says he stopped by a Goodwill to look at a computer, so there are, I think, 4 or maybe 6 locations. It used to be 4. There may be more now. Goodwills that are electronics Goodwills, and where they send a lot of their computers. And what's the name of it, Tom? It has a name.
I don't remember what it was.
There's one in Charlotte. There's one in Pittsburgh. I don't know where the other 2 are. I've been to those 2. And so basically it'll be beside a regular Goodwill, and it'll just be wall to wall electronics. It'll be computers. It'll be any kind of computer thing to deal with. Grid. That's it.
The grid.
The grid. The grid. The name of it is the grid.
I went in there. I was on. They've got some Apple computers for like $99. It's the last one. You can't update the software in it to the current version because of the way the hardware configuration is on it or something like that. But I have never done anything with Apple. So I was going to stop by there and pick up one just to play with and kind of learn to use it.
That was a $2 calculator.
What model is that?
Yeah. It's an HP 33S. The batteries are the 2032s. I didn't know how to get the batteries out, so I watched a video for like 30 seconds. You push the little thing in and slide the metal thing down, and there's 2032 batteries, which I had 2 of them. And so yeah, I had to come. I mean, that's how you know. I mean, when it's laid on the table and you can see the little HP on the leather case, and the $2, I was told you don't even bother looking it up. Just that's what it was.
While we were on the cruise, I wanted to switch out the memory card in my GoPro, and I had to get Roberta to call up a video to get the damn door open on it because I don't ever open the door because I usually just plug it in, or I'm doing the Bluetooth up to my computer. But that's bad.
So yeah, the calculator. I put batteries in it yesterday right before I went 8 wings. So I got to get it listed. Today's listening. All right, y'all got like 10 minutes left before I hit the button and hit the eject button.
Well, I'm ejecting out of here now. I should have already been gone.
Roberta, you're gonna have a red eye. Roberta's gonna give you one of these red eyes.
No, she's in the office and she just messaged me. She said, "I've been trying to get out of here because she has to go in 3 days a week. She goes in, does her email, stays because she goes in about 6 o'clock in the morning. So by about 10:30, 11 o'clock, she's packing up to come home and work the rest of the day at home. Wow. She got a bunch of needy people in there today that don't know how to do anything. And so she's like, damn it, I'm going to probably be here all freaking day.
Is that a brick of weed? What the hell is that?
No, I put a cardboard wrap on a bit.
I thought it was police evidence where one of the neighbors threw it through his window because he was smoking up the neighborhood with his lawnmower.
That's a router bit.
You don't just stick it in a padded envelope and send it.
No, it's got a plastic case on it. I don't want it to get broke, so I do a little cardboard wrap. Still below 4 ounces, so I'm good to go.
But that's it.
Yeah, kilos, Glenn. That's what I was thinking too.
So after all the things that I've talked about today, about the different things about these, it's amazing that in this day and age, how do you get an advantage over other sellers if you're just competitive at all? It's amazing, if you're competitive at all. You really, because the culture out there has gotten so everybody gets a trophy and all that crazy nonsense that they will spend hours and days and weeks complaining about how terrible their sellers are. and the thought never occurs to them the problems with them. I mean, go watch some of these videos and how they're slow sales, and they will blame everything on the platform, and not once will they mention, maybe I should look at what I do. Maybe it's me. And God forbid if I say something about the products you're selling, the prices you're charging, all those things, the number of pictures, your quality. If I say those kind of things, they look at me like I am the Antichrist. How dare I question them and their ability to sell because they are entitled to their sales. It's amazing.
Well, see, that's the reason I listen to stuff you say and Todd says and other people say. It's because y'all sell stuff. Y'all sell stuff on a regular basis.
I wonder what RB3 is doing. He's probably still. I thought he went back to selling. Wasn't he a mobile home salesman?
I don't remember what he was.
I thought he was like a manager or ran different. I thought that's what he did.
I don't remember.
Hey, the reason why when I have low sales is because I've got stuff behind me that's not listed. I haven't gone out sourcing and picked up the stuff I normally. There's a reason why when my sales are down, it's because I am not putting in the work. I am not doing the things that are right by my business. I have made decisions that were not in the best interest of my business. There's something that I have done as a part of the process that and it's a huge chunk of it, whether I want to realize it or not. Last year, I had a slower year in sales, and I dealt with burnout, and I tried to change things, and I changed them to things that I didn't like. And then I was too slow to react about getting out of that. That's my own damn fault. It has nothing to do with the platforms.
I talk about her because she does do amazing work. Bridget, she always if she sells 10, she's having a bad day if she sells 10 items. I mean, but she's always working on her store. Her and Chris. I forget about Chris. That's her significant other. They're always listing. They're always doing stuff on their store. Hey, Glenn, I know it's not the same thing, but the BMX Nationals are in Rock Hill, which is just south of me this weekend.
So there you go right there. That's my opinion on that. They're talking about that's their favorite Swift song. I'm like, an oxymoron. So there you go.
Doing it wrong. Every time I see TBH, that's my initials. I'm like, what? Who the fuck? Who is using my name in vain here?
So Larry, there's nothing wrong with selling remotes, and I think that you can buy them so cheap. You can buy them by the Gaylord and have pennies in these things and listen. But I would tell you that you need you need a remote store, because you don't want the sheer number of items to bring down the sell-through rate of your store.
Maybe it's what I need to do with my bike stuff, because I got a crap load of it.
I was watching someone the other day, and they were talking about, it might have been John or somebody talking about sell-through rate. Sell-through rate is not dollars. There was somebody in the chat that was confusing average sales price with sell-through rate. They're not the same, by the way.
Todd's kicking it. I guess that was Todd.
I don't think I've sold anything on either platform this morning. It's been awful quiet.
World of Warcraft Funko Pops 54.51.
Yeah, I've sold nothing on either platform today.
Well, you should have came to Rock Hill, Glenn. I'd have wined you and dined you.
Why did they pay 50? Oh, I guess they're out of the country. Some Funko Pops still sell.
Because Larry, it could be as simple as that. It could be as simple as you have items that sell. Remotes do sell, but in the wrong store. And on the podcast this weekend, John will talk about that removing things. I've removed half my eBay store just to increase the sell through and have it more of the items that I'm listing. And it's not that remotes are bad. Remotes just need to be, if you're going to have bulk items like that, they need to be in their own store. Take the time to open a second store. You can call eBay and tell them, hey, connect this to mine. They will lift some of the, they'll give you higher sales limits and selling limits. There's easy things you can do to get a store going. But it doesn't have any feedback, Beard. But you buy supplies, you buy things, buy in that store's name through that store and get feedback from buying things. When people look at the store, they don't look at it and go, look at that store. It's got 100 feedback. They haven't sold anything. They don't look that hard. They just see 100 feedback and move on.
I don't think people look at feedback like they used to.
I look at 0.
Huh?
That's about it. If somebody's got a 0, I generally won't buy from them. Other than that, I don't.
I mean, people just don't seem to leave feedback. Mr. Sadie, I sold a ladies' cruising saddle bike seat. That sucker must have been 14 inches wide for $125. My cost in it was about 68 cents. I'm gonna shout out the big girls. That was the widest bike seat I have ever seen.
You're truly some kind of set. If you could ride on one of them little bitty bike seats that
these little boys riding on the weekends, you see the covey of bikers going down through there in their little tight suits.
They must have calluses on the end of their ball sacks in order for them not to just be destroyed. It's you ride one of them seats around the block and you walk like some cowboy has just raped you. Yeah, more of them.
It must wedge up in your crack or something. I don't know.
Have you seen those? They make them that size, but they've got the middle out. So I guess your boys have somewhere to.
I've got some of those too. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Spandex cowboys. I'm serious. Sunday morning around here, there's a whole coveys of them running around.
A very cool titanium. Brenda, I can show you a pan that's cooler than that. I picked it up last week. So I picked this bad boy up. It was $35. I gave him $25 for it. Would anybody else have paid $25 for that?
Magnalite.
The last one sold for $200 plus shipping.
Dang.
And look at the condition the sucker's in. I don't even have to clean it up. You can see Tom through the thing.
Yeah.
And the guy said that he's got the whole set. He never uses this one.
Were those waterless cookware sets? Is that what that was? Or is it just a heavy duty set of cookware?
They're heavy duty aluminum. Yeah, this one. Magnalite. This is the 11 1/4 with the spouts. Larry said he'd need a cigarette after riding.
I see that. I'm serious. These little narrow ass boys out there on some of these seats, because that's a wide one. They make one that's real thin. I think it must be just like a resting point, not actually sitting on it.
That's at yard sales. How many people look at the pots and pans? There's crazy money in these things.
Especially, back during the 80s, the waterless cookware sets that were like $1,400.
They tell you right there what they are. This one is a Towncraft chefware. I got like 8 pieces for $25. Look up Towncraft chefware and realize what these 5-ply, whatever these stainless steel. I mean, look at the shape this is in. This lady, they said you can only buy this at like parties, and the lady paid like $800 for the set back in the 80s.
What was the brand?
Towncraft chefware. Look at this is from the 80s, and the lady used the lady used it till she passed away, and look how good a shape they're still in. Look.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
A
there's
used set. It is 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus lids is $1,372.
I only
on
have
eBay.
4. I only have 4 lids.
$67 shipping.
Yep. There's so much to learn at yard sales. The more you learn, the more you learn, the more you learn. It's amazing. Don't pigeonhole yourself. What's the old saying? Don't trip over dollars on your way to picking up pennies.
Yeah. And this is kind of sad to say, but a lot of older people bought all these high-end cookware sets, and they're slowly dying off.
Did I show these things? These were $5 each.
Yeah.
What is that?
Incredible.
Like,
That's what you wear after riding a bicycle seat like that.
yeah, this is what your hemorrhoids feel like after you get off the bicycle seat.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, and that's cool. Does
LED light made by IKEA. It was $5 at a yard sale sitting there. They sells for $169 used on eBay. I've got a pair of them. Trying to decide if
I know you're going to put it in a box. So let's just jump on past that. But are you just going to fill that box full of bubble wrap?
Yeah, they make a lamp box at I'm gonna go buy one, and I need to put it on my phone so I'll remember. Stop by U-Haul. I'm gonna buy a lamp box, and then I'm gonna cut that sucker in half and one for each one.
Because that looks like it doesn't come apart, does it?
No.
Okay.
And it's not, you can't control it either.
You're talking about brightness or colors?
Like, I have a problem. I can't walk away. If it's $5 lag, I can't walk away from $160, $170 item for $5.
Have you got them?
Worst comes to worst, for $5, I'll put them inside and make Johnny love them.
Put them on Facebook Marketplace.
Home power systems, absolutely. The easiest thing to do is filter on your eBay app, filter to sold, or if you look them up on Amazon, understand what sales rank means. It'll tell you how fast they sell. Lag is packed a 70-pound item this morning. So I did list the okay, so who said that? Lag said that. Sorry, Lag. I listed that yesterday. The robot lawnmower. Because I paid $150 for it, and the guy said you can have the kit for free. So that's listed for $110. That's listed for $500 plus shipping. I think the minimum shipping is like $90. I got both of them for $150. So I listed those yesterday.
Home power systems. I've had some plumbing stuff that I was given to me on eBay for about 5 years, and I have a truckload of it, and I sell off a few pieces each week. It's not fast sellers, but I got 2 or 3 sales coming in each week. So, and I bought those. I've got some brass fittings back there because of damn Dusty. Because he's always, Dusty's always had some kind of crap coming. Like, I saw these and I thought, well, what the hell? I'll give them a try. So I've bought the most stuff because of his buy it and give it a try. And I've sold a bunch of stuff too because of it. The old fuse breakers, the tube ones. I must have had 1,000 of those, and I sold the last one last week. And they're all, huh?
I might have. Me and Harlan together might have 27 boxes of fuses.
And they've all been going to like New Jersey and and New York, Connecticut. Do y'all not update y'all's electrical systems up there?
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of them go in old radios and all that stuff that people still use.
Right.
The collectors and all that stuff. You gotta. All right. Well, we're at the end of the day. Hopefully y'all learned something through all the rants. Sold a fuse for $1,000. Dang lag. It's most is a competition. It's the world out there is not a give it to you place. So eBay and Amazon and all the other platforms are not just going to give it to you. You got to go out there and take it.
Give old Scottrick a thumbs up on your way out. Show him a little love.
Yeah, I didn't pick any sides. I hate everybody. There you go.
That's right.
They all suck. They are all. The sooner you figure that out and get back onto your life, the better off. I promise you, the better off you'll be. The Northeast, the oldest area. Well, the South is the same as the Northeast, Mike, except for those bastards came and burned this place down. What the hell?
Yeah,